Today we're going to start looking at the life cycle of a plant. First, let's look at some vocabulary that we're going to be listening to as I read the story today. Attracted. Made someone or something interested in someone or something else. For example, the bright, colorful signs attracted customers to the bake sale. Emerge. To come out into view. For example, at the beginning of spring, bears emerge from their long winter hibernation. Pollinators. Animals that carry pollen to and from plants. For example, insects are perhaps our planet's most important pollinators. We need them so that we can have beautiful flowers and plants to eat. Protective. Helpful at keeping someone or something safe. For example, many nuts have a protective outer layer called a shell. Reproduce. To make new animals or plants. For example, plants need pollen from other plants in order to reproduce or make seeds for new plants. Let's review. How long does it take Earth to orbit or revolve around the sun? That's right, 1 year.
So let's start.
What causes the seasons?
What causes daytime and nighttime?
That's right, the tilt of the Earth as it revolves around the sun. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about another cycle in nature, the life cycle of a plant. I want you to listen carefully to today's read aloud to find out about the life cycle of a flowering plant. All living things pass through stages from birth to adult called a life cycle. For many living things, the cycle of life follows the 4 seasons of the year. Let's go ahead and name the 4 seasons in order. Spring, summer, fall, winter. For some living things, the cycle of life is short and is completed in just days, months, or a single year. For other living things, the cycle of life continues for many, many years. Some living things have longer lifespans than others. Some flies only live for a few days, but humans, like you, can live to be over 100 years old. Today we'll learn about the life cycle of a flowering plant. Just think about all the flowering plants you see in the parks, yards, gardens, fields, and meadows. Our world is awash with colorful, vibrant flowering plants. How do these plants grow and reproduce or make seeds for new plants? Let's find out. A flowering plant begins its life cycle as a seed. Seeds need special conditions to germinate or begin to grow. Spring provides seeds with the right conditions to grow. Therefore, the life cycle of a flowering plant begins in spring. In spring, there is more sunlight and temperatures are warmer. Seeds need just the right amount of light from the sun, nutrients from the soil, and water in order to grow. Once the seed germinates or sprouts, it grows and develops into a young plant with roots, a stem, and leaves. Roots, stem, and leaves are the 3 main parts of a young plant. The first leaves unfold to allow photosynthesis to happen. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food, as well as oxygen. Plants use sunlight and water to make food in the form of glucose, a type of sugar. In the warmth of spring and summer, plants continue to grow. The young plant is called a seedling. Gradually, a plant stem will grow taller and true leaves will emerge or come out. Once the plant matures or becomes an adult plant, flowers appear. In order for a flowering plant to reproduce by making seeds that will make new flowering plants, it must be pollinated. Pollination is when pollen from one flower mixes with the pollen of another flower so that the plant can make seeds. But how is pollen transferred from one place to another? In other words, how does pollination occur? Flowering plants need pollinators to help them with pollination. Pollinators are insects, birds, and other animals that are attracted to the shape, fragrance, or color of a flower. Without pollinators, most flowering plants would not produce seeds and fruit. Remember, plants need pollen from other plants in order to make seeds. Pollinators carry pollen from flower to flower. Next week, we'll learn about the insects and birds and animals that are the pollinators and how they move the pollen from one plant to another.